Hi, this is Laurie Niles at Violinist.com, and today I'd like to talk to you about the crash landing. It's something that happens with people's bows, and it happens when we do retakes and sometimes chords. It can happen at the beginning level, but it can also happen at a very advanced level in orchestra music and solo music. But what happens is that when you go to retake the bow crash lands. I'm going to give you a really simple example. It's from Suzuki Book 1. It's sort of like the first time that anybody tries a retake. It's Song of the Wind. And then we do this retake, right? Okay, so what happens when we crash? It goes like this. Oh no. That's not good, is it? No. So what is happening is a number of things. The first thing that is very likely is that your hand needs a little strengthening. What's happening is when you go to hold up the bow in the air, you have to have a good hold on it. You have to have some strength in your hand. And if you do hold your bow like this, you'll feel, if you let go, you'll feel that all the weight of that stick is in your pinky. It should be in your pinky. And sometimes you have to buff up your pinky. A good test to do to see if you're holding your bow well is, if you go to hold your bow, does this happen when you let go? Does this happen? And then are you like squeezing and trying to use all the fingers to like hold up the bow? Well, you need to give that responsibility to your pinky, and your pinky needs to be strong enough to have that responsibility. So here's a couple of exercises you can do. If you do this and you're like, oh, I can't, like your pinky caves in, the rest of your fingers are like really stiff, let's talk about what to do. So we need to buff up your pinky, okay? So these are exercises to buff up your pinky. Here's a pretty simple one. So hold your hand like this. You're just gonna tap your pinky. So you can just tap it 20 times. Make sure that it's resting when you've got your bow like at a little bit of a tilt and horizontal. You can just hold it and tap your pinky. We wanna place your pinky on top of the bow. It's not gonna be here. It's not gonna, this is not helpful. It's gotta be on top, okay? So tap your pinky. Next is just try letting go. You might just count to 20, and then hold it again. Count to 20, okay? Next is to actually push down on the stick with your pinky and see if you can get the tip to go up a little bit. So like this. So you do like 20 of these, okay? Your other fingers should really not be participating so much. They're holding the bow, but it's your pinky that's making that tip go up, that's making the stick move. Okay, next is just go in circles with the bow, horizontal, or, mine's not perfectly horizontal. It's like a little bit tilted, but you'll feel the weight of the bow. So you can go in circles one way, do 20 circles, do 20 circles the other way. I think if you do those exercises every day, you're gonna really start feeling a little more strength in your pinky, okay? Now the other thing that can happen with the crash landing is simply that you're in motion too much when you're landing, okay? So to really simplify this, I'm gonna place it first, then go. Even if you do a very, very quick landing, sorry, I lost my grip. Okay. It's going to be neater if you calm the bow down and you land before you go. And there's always a little tiny split second when you can do this. Sometimes it's going to be more in motion, but you have to keep control of that stick. But a good trick is just to stop. Having trouble with this, what you can do is actually put a little pause in the music where you land, then go. to get yourself in that habit of landing before you go. Because if you don't, if you're going kind of before you land, that's when you get this skitter. Also, once you have a strong pinky, you're going to have a lot more control retaking closer to the frog. Out here in the middle of the bow, that's where it's less control. You'll probably crash. Now, sometimes when people do have a little bit of weakness, they're tempted to do the retake only to here because it's kind of scary to go all the way here because you just don't have the strength to do it. So, but if you're retaking to the middle, there's a much more highly likely that you will crash, I'm afraid. So, let's see, what else did I want to tell you about this? Oh, chords. Chords are another place where you might crash land. You know, you're at the end of a piece and you just want to, you know, ouch. Ugh. So it works. It's actually much more energetic sounding. You know, it feels like a lot of energy if you just go at it from the sky, right? But you'll actually get this much more energetic sound if you place and go. You know, there are places, you know, some people will argue with me, right? That there are places where you go from the sky maybe. But honestly, you can get a lot accomplished by just placing that and then sort of like place and pull, and then you'll get a nice big sound. You'll hear the bottom of the chord and you won't crash land. So those are a couple of tips for you, a number of tips for strengthening your pinky, placing and then going with your bow in order to avoid those crash landings and get a little more comfort for your retakes when you're playing. Please visit us on Violinist.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Happy practicing!